to show you how to create a Keith Haring inspired character. Now, there really is no right or wrong way to do this because his characters are from his mind. They're made up and they're always moving and dancing and changing directions and changing shapes. So you really have a lot of room to be creative and be a little silly and whimsical in the way that you draw these characters. But here are a few tips. The first one is to start by drawing a stick figure. This is the only time you can draw stick figures in art class. So I'm going to start with the head and think about the main body. Is your person standing up? If so, then give it a nice straight body. Is your person maybe like dancing and swaying to the side? So maybe it has a little more of a curve to it. Then think about the arms. Are your person's arms sticking straight up in the air and then they have their hand waving up? Arms have bends in them because we have elbows. So maybe the arm is coming out, but then it's going down because of the elbow. And then think about the hand. Already I have a lot of movement in my character. Now we can move on to the legs. Maybe your legs are just straight up and down with a foot sticking out. Maybe your legs are bent because we have a knee. So it comes out and down. Maybe it's shooting up in a different direction. Same thing for our characters that might have a bend to them. Maybe their arms are coming out with a hand. Maybe your arms are crossing over your body. In that case, maybe one arm comes out and bends at the elbow across the body. So it's really up to you. That's a little more tricky. You might want to stick to just having your arms bending on either side of the body. Same thing with the legs. We'll do this guy kind of jumping in the air. And I just always do a little stem for the hands or the feet. Okay, so we have our two characters here. Once you've drawn your stick figure, now we're ready to turn it into a character like Keith Haring. So from the head, because I already have a head here, I'm just going to add a line around my stick figure. So it's kind of like a game. Don't touch the line here. And I'm just kind of tracing around like a little bubble. I'm adding a bubble around. If your lines do touch, that's okay. Just jump over and continue on the other side. Maybe you want it to be a little more wavy and whimsical than having sharp points. You decide. Okay. I'm going to go on the other side. Do the same thing. The hand here. I don't think our bodies can bend the way that hand does, but that's okay. That's what makes it kind of funny and fun. So I'm coming up here. And the neck gets a little tricky, so you could just draw your lines right to the head and you don't need a neck. That's what Keith Haring does with his characters, but whatever you want. And then we don't need that line on the inside anymore, so I'm going to go ahead and erase it. So it's important when you start to be drawing light. That means you're not pressing too hard with your pencil. If you press too hard with your pencil, then it's going to be hard to erase your pencil lines when you don't want them anymore. So I'm trying to erase these good here. And there you have it, a fun dancing character. Now, if you have the arms that are crossing over the body here, when I erase this line, it looks kind of blobby. Like that is hard to tell that there's an arm there. So you might have to add more information to continue that arm. We might need a line there. And that's okay. Maybe it comes down a little here. So now you can tell you have an arm crossing the body. Just something to think about. So you can draw your characters in any way. And then last but not least is we want to add movement or motion or sound even. And you can do that in a few ways. Maybe you're adding like echo lines. They're just curved lines. on parts of the body. Like I like to think about them on hands and elbows and knees. Um, or you could add straight lines coming out. And that to me is more like sound, like maybe he has his foot tapping there. And I like to think about that. Now that I have my characters fixed here, I'm going to show you just a few of Keith Haring's most famous reoccurring characters. Other than his fancy dancers are his kneeling baby. So the kneeling baby would start with the head, and it's kind of like peeking up. Well, I'm going to give it an arm with a hand. No bend needed, right? And the other arm is just kind of peeking out of the side. Same thing, but it overlaps, so it disappears on the other side of the baby that we don't see. Now our baby has a curved back, so I'm going to add a rainbow line. I'm realizing that's kind of big for our baby, so you might want to make yours a little shorter. Then we have a straight line for our belly. Come down for a leg that bends at the knee, and another foot going up that way. And again, we have a foot peeking out the other side. And our kneeling baby has lines all the way around. Another one is his barking dog, which is with the mouth. So I'm going to add a rectangle pointing up. And that second line is a little shorter there. V shape and a rectangle down. So that's like the barking dog's mouth. Two baby triangles for the ears. I know this looks weird now. Let's add a straight line for the back. And now we're working on the legs. Maybe got a little tail for our barking dog. And this is similar to Keith Haring's dog, but you can make yours different if you want it to be a little different. If you want a certain kind of dog, that's fine too. Again, I'm adding those feet that are peeking out the back, and our dog is barking, so it's got those straight lines coming out of the mouth.